Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. I'm here with my good buddy, Mr. Erik Schmude, who is a Vikings fan, Minnesota Vikings fan. And one of the things that I want to do on this channel is have some vent sessions. As you all know, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, and we had a really rough week. And I was having a conversation with Erik, who not only is a friend of mine, but also consider a mentor in my professional development and my career. And we were talking and realized how therapeutic it was for us to vent. This NFL season's been really crazy. And one of the craziest developments was this past week. Unfortunately, you guys were 16-point favorites. Buffalo Bills. Just your thoughts. What happened?
I'm glad we're having this venting session because I need to get this off my chest.
Got to get it off your chest.
It was really a tough week, and you know, it started the first series both on defense as well as offense.
Mm-hmm.
So we started out on defense. We looked pretty good for the first 2 plays or so, maybe 3. We got a sack on 3rd down. We thought we were a 3 and out, and things were going to be really good. And next thing we know, we got flagged for a roughing the passer, and after that, Buffalo drove down the field, and they got a quick touchdown out of that. And
was that the play? Was that the play where Josh Allen dove to the pylon when he was running? Because it seemed like you guys had issues with contain on him.
We did. Yes, we did. I think he surprised.
He surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, he really did. He was a little more mobile than we thought, and you know, so that we had trouble containing him all day. But that was a big thing. You know, so that kind of set the tone. You know, for us, and it wasn't enough. You know, for us to overcome. You know, we've been in that situation. We had a great comeback against Green Bay. But you know, second series when we got the ball on offense, you know, the second play of the drive, I think there was 2nd and 7 or so. We had Diggs on maybe a 15 or so yard out. Cousins airmailed it. He was a little uncomfortable in the pocket. You can kind of tell.
Let's talk about that pocket.
Yeah.
The offensive line. You know, you guys. I think one of the things we were touching on as we were talking, and Erik and I have these football conversations, Tony Sparano, somebody that was, once a member of the Dallas Cowboys, head coach of the Miami Dolphins, passed away this offseason, really beloved across the league, highly respected football mind. What impact has that had on the offensive line? Because it's led to your $84 million investment in Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's not feeling comfortable. He's getting hit a lot.
Yeah.
Just what are your thoughts on Tony Sparano's?
So, well, first of all, he was a phenomenal coach, and the players really respected him, and you could see you could see the impact immediately. You know, we saw it in preseason, and you know, we've had a couple injuries. There's no doubt that, you know, with the injury bug has hit us a little bit.
Sure.
We lost our starting center, but we've got a new offensive coordinator.
Yes, John DeFilippo, who actually came over from the Philadelphia Eagles as Pat Shurmur went and took over as head coach of the New York Giants. And they're running a little bit different scheme than they did. Pat Shurmur, there was, 3-step drop, get the ball out, very quick. Hitting plays, a lot of running off tackle. John DeFilippo has, some different concepts and a different quarterback.
That's exactly right. And I think we need a little bit of time for really everything to gel. And, if you look at a new offensive line and you couple that with a new offensive coordinator and a new offensive line coach,
these things can
some
happen.
Injuries, a new quarterback, you got some. We just need a little bit more time, I would say.
So I can understand some of that from an offensive perspective, especially trying to make it all gel, right?
Yeah.
What happened to the defense, though? That's Mike Zimmer's baby.
Yeah.
I know Trey Waynes got hurt.
That's right.
But overall, I understand the containment issues with Josh Allen, but I mean, LaShawn McCoy wasn't playing for the Buffalo Bills. He was basically just dumping it off to Chris Ivory or insert whatever, not to be disrespectful to the Buffalo Bills, but insert whatever random player they had.
Chris Ivory had 120 or something yards. I didn't realize he was an All-Pro.
I know, right? You look like oh my God, looking like Thurman Thomas out there. It's just like, what is going on with the defense? I mean, this was a defense. This is one of the high-level defenses from last season.
Well, there are a couple things. Number one, I think to a degree we were, and I use the word cautiously, but I think we might have been out-coached a little bit. And when I say out-coached, we might have been looking forward.
Looking forward to the Rams
too. Yes, possibly that.
We'll get to the Rams in a second, guys.
Secondly, when I look at Minnesota's offense, I see an offense that seems to be fairly predictable. When I look at some of the recent losses that Minnesota has had, there seems to be a level of unpredictability. So offenses have often been very creative, running a lot of misdirection.
Sure.
And we've had a tough time adapting to that. And so you saw that with some of the plays that Josh Allen ran. We ran a couple plays in which we had a single safety back out there. We ran it back-to-back. They checked out of a play, and that's whenever they scored on one of the touchdown passes.
Yeah.
So they adapted well to the things that the schemes that we were running. So I thought that they did a really good job. And sometimes you just can't. When you have people out there that are making plays, sometimes you just get beat too on the field. And I give a lot of credit to Josh Allen.
Yeah,
he had a heck of a game.
He had I kind of knew y'all were in trouble when he hurdled over Anthony Barr.
Who's 6'5".
6'5".
Yes.
One of the better athletes in the league, as you guys have seen. Obviously, Anthony Barr may be the reason why the game's ruined because he hurt Aaron Rodgers last year, and that became the roughing the passer penalty and all that. But I digress. Anthony Barr is obviously a great player, and for him to, I think it just was like, oh, what is going on? It seemed to me like a classic looking ahead. Yeah. Considering right now, through 3 weeks, the Los Angeles Rams look like the best team in football. You have them on a Thursday night on the road. And you're like, we got Buffalo coming to Minnesota. They've looked terrible. Mm-hmm. Everyone's blown them out. They might be the worst team in the league.
Right.
We could probably cruise this. And we really got to get our minds right to go to LA, because it's not just LA. You have the little 10 days, but then you go to Philly in week 6. So it's like, I think it could have just been a classic case. And you touched on this with the coaching staff and Mike Zimmer of them possibly just looking ahead. I hope for y'all's sake that's the case. I'll be very transparent with you. I may have given y'all the kiss of death. As we talk, I did pick Minnesota as my NFC representative going to the Super Bowl. I love the bold move of going to a Kirk Cousins, even though y'all came out of the, a lot of people thought it was disrespectful for them to move on from Case Keenum. Right. But as you saw what the Chiefs have done, moving from Alex Smith to Pat Mahomes, sometimes you have to make that big, bold move, right? So going into Thursday, trying to cleanse yourself of what happened with Buffalo. What do you want to see? What are the keys to victory? What are your thoughts?
So, I've been thinking about that a lot. I think the first thing is that, we're going to have the right mindset going into the game. And I think that's going to be important for Minnesota. And I think that if I look at the mindset in the Buffalo game, you can say potentially we were looking ahead. I think that we're probably could be in another vulnerable position, and when we start to overthink this, there's another piece to this, and that is we lost Everson Griffen for this game, and I think that he's had there's been some news on Twitter and things like that.
Yeah.
He's run into some
possible mental
breakdowns and stuff like that, and we don't know how that's affecting the locker room. We don't know what type of effect that had in the Buffalo game, we don't know what type of effect that is going to have in
That's
Los Angeles.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the Everson Griffen mental aspect on the team, because I was wondering where you were going when you said get their minds right. But with that's a distraction.
It could be.
Could be. Right.
Right.
But it also goes to the locker room mentality of next man up.
That's right. So we have to we have to move past that, and I do know that, from everything that I've seen, that there's just tremendous support for Everson Griffen within the entire locker room. Everything that I've read and and heard on it. So, and I know the team is rallied behind him, and we wish him well. And from a fan's perspective, I do as well. But from a game standpoint, I think, to me, it's still. I know the Rams' defense is very respectable. To me, it starts with Kirk Cousins, though, still. He has to establish a rhythm.
Yes.
And we have to have a game plan that establishes a rhythm in which we can adjust when needed. If Aaron Donald and Sue are getting to the quarterback in 2 or 3 seconds, then we're going to have to get the ball out faster. We're going to have to go to misdirection. We're going to have to be able to adapt to where Kirk Cousins can be comfortable in some type of offense. That is, shortening the pass, run play actions, do whatever you need to do to get him into some type of rhythm. And once we find that rhythm, I think we'll be in good enough shape to where we can get some time of possession and begin to your point, get some momentum.
I think they're gonna have to run the football a little bit too.
Yeah,
slow down that pass rush.
That's right.
It sounds like Dalvin Cook is probable for tomorrow. Whether he plays or it's Latavius Murray or Ham or whoever's in there.
That's right.
They have to run downhill at those guys just enough to keep your play action honest, because y'all been just totally relying on the drop back pass game.
That's
and
right.
As a pass rusher, like you mentioned with Donald, they're going to peel their ears back and be ready to go.
Oh, you're exactly right, and that makes me nervous, because if we get into a situation like we did in Buffalo, to where we were 3 and out and 3 and out and 3 and out, their defense, Minnesota's defense, is eventually going to wear out.
Yes.
And
we saw that with the Cowboys and Seattle guys.
and we can't let that happen. And so, to me, it starts with Cousins. And you're right, we have to get some runs in there, and we have to establish a run. And if we can do that, we can get some time and possession in there.
Absolutely. Keep the ball away from that deadly Rams offense. I think that's one of the best chess matches we're going to see all season. Jared Goff and the LA Rams versus Harrison Smith and the Minnesota Vikings defense.
That's exactly right.
So, Mike Zimmer versus Sean McVay. So
absolutely.
That's going to be a high-level match. Potential NFC division or NFC championship game preview.
That's right. So
this but I do feel that if you guys are able to probably split these next 2 games, the schedule does lighten up. It's still the first month of the season. So when I say next 2, we're talking about the Rams and obviously going to Philly, right?
That's right.
You would come out of that stretch, 2-2-1? I think that is, because you're 1-1. Yeah, you would be 2-2-1.
That's right.
If you're looking at that after 5 weeks, all things considered, I think you can go on a run and still win the division and be where you want to be.
Yeah.
I think that's a realistic mindset to have. Now, if you're able to go into LA and beat the Rams on Thursday Night Football, I think that kind of avenges the Bills' loss to some degree. I mean, it's never good when you're at the hands of the worst, the biggest upset.
Yes, that's right. It would be a little better than that, because it's a conference win versus a non-conference loss. I would actually take it over. I would take a Rams win over a Bills loss any day.
Sure.
But yes, I would be satisfied with 2-2-1 as well, coming out of week 5.
Last thing I want to talk about is, I know we just highlighted Harrison Smith versus Jared Goff and the Vikings defense versus the Rams offense. I'm so excited to watch this game. How do you slow down the Rams? Because they've been moving the ball up and down the field on everybody with relative ease.
Yes. So I watched a game last year, and I thought we did a really good job. And
when they played on Minnesota.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And it started. I don't think Jared Goff does really very well whenever you put pressure on him. When you put enough pressure on Jared Goff, when you make him, and not a lot of quarterbacks do. Aaron Rodgers is probably the exception. But if you put in pressure on him and you get him moving, he doesn't do very well. And last year we ended up, and we got a lot of pressure on him. And Everson Griffen was out there, and our ends came through and made a lot of plays. And we had a lot of unique blitzes where we came after him, and we got a couple of interceptions and made some plays early, and were able to do some good things. The second thing that we did is we did a good job containing Gurley, and so we contained the running game, and
they get him creative touches. It's not just handoffs. He'll line up out wide. He'll flank out. He'll run angle routes out of the backfield. He'll run. They did it to us Cowboys fans with Sean Lee, when he went out and they ran the wheel route up the middle of the field, and he runs for a 50-yard touchdown. They have so many creative ways to get him the football.
That's right.
In the red zone as well. They don't just toss. They'll toss it to him. They'll hand it off. They'll throw it to him out. I mean, so just all eyes, P's and Q's have to be on Todd Gurley.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm excited. I want to tie off with you after week 6.
Yeah. Okay.
After week 6, let's level set. Let's see where this Vikings team is. I still think this has been a weird NFL season. If you really look across the league, the only truly dominant teams have been the Rams. The Saints just got a great win over the Falcons, but they blew it against Tampa Bay early. The Patriots are down. The Steelers are kind of down.
Oh, yes.
In both conferences, we thought Jacksonville was going to roll. They turn around and lose to Tennessee Titans that didn't really have any quarterback play. Across the league, it's been really, really weird. And
it is.
I'm trying to tell myself that as a Cowboys fan to give me hope, especially since it's still the first month. But I think being a Vikings fan with the roster that you guys have and the talent that y'all have, as well as the coaching. I know you mentioned you guys were out coached this past week. It happens, but I think over time, y'all will be all right. I think who you really need to look out for is Chicago.
They've got some really good edge rushers.
Chicago's making me nervous.
Yes,
I think that's because I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is gonna, and then we play Detroit this week, but Green Bay, they're still the big bad wolf because of A-Rod, but with his knee, he could have a torn ACL and nobody knows. We don't know what his knee injury is.
That's right.
But Chicago, the way they play defense, the way they fly around in their secondary, they have a lot of ball hawks back there.
They do.
A team like that is very, very dangerous. First-year head coach and Matt Nagy doing a tremendous job. So, yeah, just wanted to have a little vent session. As I said, it's therapeutic. Myself as a fan of my team who's struggling, my friend Eric here who's struggling. We'll get through it together, man.
Yes, we will.
Sometimes, we all have those friends and people out there that we just talk things out and just, you got to say it out loud sometimes. Just say it out loud. So I appreciate you coming on the channel.
Yes,
thank you so much.